Welcome to the only place where real, raw, and vulnerable conversations happen with IFBB Bikini Pros to give you an inside look at their struggles, strategies, mindset, passions, and all of life beyond the stage. This podcast is made to inspire, motivate, and remind competitors and the average gym goer that even the most extreme lifestyles and elite athletes have their ups and downs. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I'm your host, Celeste Rains-Turk, and now it's time for the Confessions of a Bikini Pro podcast. Today we are speaking with 2020's Miss Bikini USA. This athlete went pro at her fourth show ever, and in her first year of competing, she finds joy and purpose in being the mother to her daughter and says that bodybuilding truly saved her life, transformed her as a person, especially after facing many mental health struggles, depression, ADHD, and mood changes amidst troubling times in her life. So I'm super excited to have this woman here. Welcome to the show, Aimee Velasquez. How are you doing?
Hi, doing great. How are you?
I'm awesome. I know we kind of touched base on this already, but before we get into the fun stuff I've got planned, I always love to ask if there's something you do or a ritual you have right before your heel hits the stage.
So I don't have like a little ritual, but I have noticed this about myself from competing, but when I'm like in line getting ready to step on stage, I just like hold my own hands and I like place them against my chest and I am just talking to myself and I have to like be like in the zone. I can't like talk to anyone else around me. I like just need to keep to myself and I just look around me and I'm like, wow, I'm here. I'm here. I don't go over my routine. I don't do anything in my head. I just kind of like clear my mind and just keep to myself and just like, I don't know, just live and be in the moment. Like it's so important to me to just be in the moment before I'm stepping on stage. So that just gets me in the zone normally.
That's awesome. I love that. And I had the chance to, of course, see you at USA's. And I want to start with your experience there and kind of work our way from that and then through the entire journey and life on and off the stage. So first and foremost, how did you feel going into USA's?
Oh, nervous. I was super nervous. I was just, wanting to execute on that feedback from Universe. My feedback was to, come in tighter. And that was my feedback every single time that I stepped off stage. My feedback was the exact same. So I was just, really worried about if I was going to deliver the tightness that they wanted. So it was just, mainly going through all of the emotions of saying like, am I ready? Am I, good enough to be competitive? But I felt really good mentally with, with everything that comes with competing. I don't know. I just felt like I was nervous, but happy, but calm. My nerves were calm. I wasn't scared, but I was just like, this needs to be it because this is my last chance for this year to turn pro, to get my opportunity. So I was like, I need to take it. I don't want to wait until next year. So I had a lot of pressure on me for USA.
Yeah, because you had been on a few stages in front of the same judging panel too, right? And so to get that feedback consistently, you're like, okay, I can get tighter if I, continue to diet. For some people, it's like putting on more muscle as well. But how was it to get in front of the same panel each time?
So me and my coach, Jordan, we had made that a point. She's like, we want to get in front of Sandy and Tyler. They're the head judges, so they're like one of the most important judges in the field. So we made it a point that like, okay, so we were gonna do a seed card in Las Vegas for my warm-up show before Universe. But since, Sandy and Tyler were going to be judging Universe, we were like, let's switch it and let's go to Texas. let's do the San Antonio Pro. And she was going to be there too to, you know, guide me and support me on my first show with the Body Fusion. And so that, whenever we went to that show, we were like, okay, we're going to be in front of these judges. So we're going to get their feedback and see what they want, because we're going to see them in universe. So yeah, it was really good. We made it a point to step in front of the same judges if it was possible, because the shows were getting switched around everywhere. But yeah, we made that a good point to do that and make sure that we deliver on what they wanted.
I love that. Like, strategy really does matter to some degree and some extent, because if you can, like in anything, there's consistency, right? And if you can be consistent, then you're going to be more likely to create better results. And I know that for you, when you went to Universe, you had said a lot of things went wrong and you took responsibility for them. So could you break down what happened at that show and then how you prioritized improvements heading into USA's after that?
Yes. So this was my second show going to San Antonio. That was my second show. So a lot was different. It was still 100% new to me. I'm sorry, I totally spaced. What was the question?
It's okay. What were some of those?
All the time.
It's all good. If you need to clarify or repeat, I don't mind it. So, what happened at Universe that went wrong that you had taken responsibility for?
Oh, okay. So yeah, it was my my second show from before Universe, so I hadn't got much experience, you know, in the lineup of competing on makeup, hair, tanning, and doing everything. And my second show, I did everything myself. Like, I did my hair, my makeup, and everything. And then so for nationals, I was like, nationals is a big deal. I'm gonna get my makeup done, my hair done, and my tan done. Everything's gonna be perfect. So I go to Universe, and Jordan couldn't be there because she was competing here in San Diego, actually, in her own show. So I was with the Body Fusion team, but a lot of my plans got mixed up. I don't know how, but my hair and makeup got pushed back. I showed up 15 minutes early, and then they were like, hey, you got to wait. There's girls that haven't been, glammed up yet. And then so I waited, and it's been like 25 minutes at this point. And I go to the front lady, and I'm like, hey, I'm getting kind of nervous, and I need my makeup and hair done like soon, because I'm bikini and I just need to go on like soon. She's like, oh, you're bikini, you're last. She's like, you're fine, don't stress. I'm like, okay. So we go, I go back to the room, and I'm waiting, and then I get my makeup done, and then I get my hair done, and I am the last person in the room. And I mean last as in like all the other artists had already packed up their stuff and like they're gone. So I'm here at this one artist in the empty room, and I'm just like, my nerves, everything is just completely felt like it was falling apart. I missed a meal. And then it was a good thing that the hair and makeup station was literally like 30 feet away from the competition. Because if it wasn't like that, I would have missed probably going on stage.
Wow.
But yeah, so I missed my carb up. When I went back there, I missed my pump up because they had us wait in line about like 20 minutes before we actually got backstage. And they were like, drop your bands. Because COVID, you know, everything is kind of crazy right now. And then waiting backstage. We waited backstage, and then I just didn't feel comfortable with my hair. My makeup, my face was white, my hair was horrible. It just was not a good experience for my first national show. So I'm not sure if my physique has something to do with the extra stress and the flying and all that. But I came in with a total different package coming from Universe to USA. Like, it seems like it's a whole new me.
I love that. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the photos as well. And not just did you change the actual presentation, but your posing itself has actually evolved a lot since your first show. And you talked about in some Instagram posts how leading up to your show, you would study posing videos night after night. And I was curious who you would watch and how did that influence your view of yourself and of your posing routine?
Oh, I love this one because posing is so big with me. So yes, the evolving of my posing on stage, it's mainly just being comfortable. So from Universe and my first shows, it's like I had those shaky legs in my back pose, and I didn't have like a good flowing transition, you know. But so all of that, that was mainly being comfortable on stage and controlling my nerves and, you know, not letting my legs shake and letting those glutes shake around. So yeah, that was from being comfortable, you know, getting up on there, getting practice. But yeah, I would definitely always break up my routine into little increments, and I would record each little section and do it over and over again in different styles of like sassiness and different, like, you know, like little routine things. And I would record myself and I would watch it and I would see which one I liked better, and I would start connecting them and start connecting the pieces, and then just seeing what flows, what looks good, and then I would compare myself to pros. So of course, my coach Jordan, I look up to her so much. She's amazing, and she looks just so comfortable on stage. So I do a lot of her little hand movements. And then I do love Janet. Oh my goodness, her facial expressions with the way everything flows. It looks feminine, but like it's everything. So I'm working on like my facial expressions with that little sexy sassiness on stage, but classy, from Janet, and then like my walking presentation, taking my time, really with my own coach.
That's awesome. I love how you said that you record different pieces of posing that you do, and then you piece them together to create your routine. And you go over that with your coach, and you're drawing inspiration from these top competitors as well, which is awesome. And I think that says a lot about the evolution you had, but it also comes down to confidence. And I think that, you know, you've had a very successful competing journey, placing first at your first show in novice, taking the overall in novice, taking second in open, going to win at the first at San Antonio Classic, then fifth at Universe, first at USA's with an overall. I mean, this is really a
Uh-huh.
lot of success for a first year, but your journey wasn't always perfect. And I was curious at what point you felt you embodied a pro mentality.
Um, okay. So I would say quarantine. Yeah, quarantine definitely took a big toll on me. So when I used to live in Las Vegas in 2019, and at the very end of 2019, I think in December is when mid-November, end of November is when I started my actual first prep, and like saying like, okay, this is what bikini is, and this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to step on stage in about a few months. Um, so going from there, I stepped on stage, and then stepping on stage, I knew nothing about anything. And then after I fell in love with the sport, and I went home, I started doing research, and I started like, you know, just learning everything about everything there is to learn about this sport. And right when I got to San Diego, everything was like, you know, normal at the time. This was end of February, beginning of March, and I had was like, okay, this is what I want to do. I need to start making plans. I need to be serious about this if I want to, like, you know, continue, because this is a tough sport. And so I started, you know, doing my research, and then I had found myself like, okay, this is what I'm doing now. I'm not healthy. Like, I wasn't feeling healthy. I wasn't feeling okay with how my body was responding. But before, I didn't really know much about the sport, so I just thought that this is how it is. So, and then that just kept taking a toll to where every day I was just dragging my life, and I was just like, oh my God, I have no energy. I have no drive. And this is like, I was like, okay. And then quarantine hit, and then we got locked down. And then I was just like, I just felt so lost. And I just, things just weren't looking up for me at that time until I started researching coaches, and I found Jordan, and she really like guided me to learn about the sport and understand that there's a lot of like it's like a mental game. You need to be really strong about, because it's your body image. So she really helped me a lot on understanding the mentality of the sport and understanding the process, because before that I never went through a proper like an off season. I got a coach just to kind of learn about, working out, and then he threw me into my first competition. So from there, she kind of just guided me, and because from competing and then stepping away from the stage and not doing a proper reverse and doing all these things that are unhealthy for you, it really took a toll on me. And I didn't realize that until after I got a coach who knew what she was doing fully from like point A to point B. So yeah, she really helped me with my mental stages. So I would say from quarantine, going into working out at home, and then stepping back into the actual gym, that point was when I felt like I stepped up a lot with my drive, with my dedication, with my role as an athlete. I feel like I got out of my comfort zone with my coach around that time. Yeah.
Wow. That's pretty amazing, because you experienced this pain or this frustration with how you were feeling, and you thought, that's just how bodybuilding's supposed to be. That's just how I'm supposed to feel. And then with deeper introspection and realizing, this has gone on for too long. This isn't the right move for me. This isn't the right way to do it. You were able to find a coach who understood the journey more, who was able to support you in having your best experience with it, and then guide you to where you are now. And you actually had a really special moment up on stage, because at USA's, Jordan was there and she was presenting you with your award.
Yes.
So what was that like?
Oh my God, I could cry. It was so amazing to have her there, because she's like one of these coaches that's like, she doesn't put herself out there a whole lot. And I've grown to know that about some people. Like, we use Instagram a lot for our, like, growing of our own business, our own personal stuff we have going on. And back then she didn't really post much. And I'm one of those people that's like, no, I gotta get to know this person, like, not just know what they post. And Jordan, she just doesn't put herself out there. She's a private person. But when you get to know her, and I've got her as my coach, and oh my God, she's just so amazing. I cannot say any more great things about her, but she's helped me so much through like my mental, my posing, everything that has to do with this sport. And by her presenting me that trophy, I'm speechless. It was amazing. It was so cool. I couldn't stop crying on stage.
I know. I loved that. That was a really special moment. I remember watching you, and I felt so emotional because you could see how much it meant to you. And I felt that way watching a majority of like the show after I finished my class. And it was just so cool to watch, and watch the overalls anyway. And when I saw you on the side, all I could think was like, and I knew it was between you and Irina, to be honest. And when I was watching, I was like, I wonder if she thinks she's gonna win the overall. So what was going through your head when you were on the side? Like, did you expect that you were gonna be the winner?
Zero expectations.
Wow.
No. I literally, like, I look at myself and I know I'm tiny. And like I know you're not supposed to compare yourself, but we all do in a way, but not in so much of a negative way. But we just look at them and be like, wow, that girl looks amazing. Right. But I don't have like a whole lot of muscle density on me, and I know that. I know I'm a smaller, petite, human. And so back stepping off stage, I was waiting back there, and I was just looking, and I was class C. And I think after D and E went off, at that point, I was like, okay, you know what? I've been back here for like 15 minutes just thinking about it, just thinking about the overall and thinking about everything that just happened. There's no way that I'm going to get this, but that's okay because you got your pro card and you just enjoy this moment. And I was just back there hugging my trophy and just enjoying myself and actually talking to the girls back there. That was really nice. Because all the nerves had officially like just left me because I just had accepted in my mind, like, all right, the overall, it's okay. It's totally fine. I'm the smallest one here. It's cool. But my coach, she really got me into the zone. Moments before stepping on stage, she came up to me and she whispered in my ear and she goes, so you are the smallest one here, body wise. She's like, you need to freaking pose. She's like, you need to spread your lats out like your life depends on it, and you need to pose. She's like, get up there and pose, and you'll do great. And I was like, okay, that's what, like, moments before stepping on stage. And I went up there and I spreaded my lats so hard, and I was just up there like just posing, and they were calling my number to move me to the center, and I was not even acknowledging that they were calling my number, and they said it like 4 times.
I remember that.
Yeah, the gentleman had to come and get me, and I was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like, I was just focusing on what her words, like, pose, Aimee, pose, and just look up there and just be up there and look great. And it was enough. So it was amazing.
Wow, that's really special. I just think it's awesome that you were able to share that moment with your coach as well. And we had mentioned, this kind of happened pretty quickly for you. So since it happened so quickly, has your goals evolved with you, or how have your goals and mindset evolved with you?
Oh, they've definitely changed. I've surprised myself a lot in this sport to where, like, I would set myself at a certain level and be like, I feel like I'm this good. And then after I show up to these shows and then I leave, that level goes up a little bit. I'm like, okay, I'm better than what I think that I am. I can do better. I need to think of myself higher, not put myself down so low, because all these things that are happening, I just feel like I'm blown away. But I feel like my goals have stayed the same, but changed drastically just because of my success in the sport. I do still want to, pursue this dream of mine, but I do know that the pro stage is a tough one, and I know I do need to take a step back and build and get that pro physique up so I can come back and be competitive. But my goals have changed a lot. I never really wanted to start coaching before, doing coaching or posing, but recently I've been thinking that I really want to get into the posing, coaching for posing and coaching for, online athletes, not athletes, sorry, lifestyle. But that will come way later on down the road. But yeah, those are some goals that have been added to my list.
That's awesome. Like, really taking this journey you've been on and supporting others in that. And I know that there are challenges you had to overcome in order to get where you are now. And there's women out there who are probably listening to this and doubting what they're capable of, doubting if they can achieve what they desire. And like I said, you've overcome many of your own inner demons. So if you could share 3 things with women in that position to support them or overcome their challenges, what would you share with them?
Okay. So first, moms, you can compete. It is doable. I have a toddler, and I am a full-time mom. I don't get any time off. I have to always schedule with her dad, or we don't have any family around, so it's just her dad, and her dad works so much. So this sport is, a lot of people don't think that, like, oh, I'm a mom, I can't do it, I don't have time, have this to do and all this stuff. But yes, being a mom is doable. Miss Bikini Olympia is a mother, and that's so awesome. It's being a mom and competing is totally doable. You just gotta, get a time management book and get your hands on that and read a little bit and try to work with your schedule. But another thing, supporting sport, I would say, really for women support. Sorry, I'm trying to think of something.
Yeah, even something you did that you feel made a difference in your journey or your mental state.
Trusting my coach, definitely trusting my coach, doing my research about the sport. So please, like, ladies, we got to do the research about everything. If your coach tells you to do something, learn about it, ask questions, because it's so important for you to learn about what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because this sport has to do a lot to do with our health and our overall, keeping our bodies 100%, making sure that your levels for your hormones and all that stuff doesn't go out of whack. So yeah, ask your questions, put your health first always. Make sure you do your research of the sport, of your coach, and trust your coach, follow her plan, and fix your posing every single day, because there's always something that can be done, always.
I love that. And I think your dedication to those things really goes a long way. You just brought up, there's moms out there who maybe feel like they can't compete or they don't have the time to. And you specifically said you used time management, you got out a planner, you got your calendar out, you made it work. So what does, or maybe what did a normal day look like for you on prep versus an improvement season?
On prep, a day with me would be, waking up earlier, a few hours earlier than my daughter, to get the things that I need to get done with that requires focus. So I really need to have that time in the morning without her. And then my day consists of all around her. I make her food, make my food. We clean the house together. I take her out, and that's where I get my steps in. I take her out walking, shopping, or to the park. And then we go home and she works, she poses with me. She puts on her little heels every time
That's
I get my nails
awesome.
out. She gets out her heels, she poses with me. She loves to, like, when I do my videos, I get her involved. It takes a lot longer, but I get her involved. She does her little videos, I do mine. She's happy. And then I have to wait until her father gets home so I can go to the gym. And when he gets home from work around like 5, 6-ish, either he goes to the gym or I go to the gym first. And then I come back home and I make my meals. My day consists of my daughter and me and prep. And that's pretty much it. And then an off season, it's a lot more flexible for my macros. I count macros always. So I like to have that flexible dieting and about knowing what foods go well with my body. So I'm able to eat a lot more variety of foods. And it's just more relaxation, waking up. She stretches with me. She does everything with me because she's at that age to where she's small enough where everything's fun to her. So I get a lot done with her, but it's been a real challenge doing things, and her bugging me and whatnot. But it's totally doable. You just gotta, time management. Really work on. That's the hardest part, is working on your time, getting things done in a short period of time.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's true for anyone, especially moms, because you're taking care of another life. And that's pretty crazy. And I know that you had started your fitness journey after you gained 50 pounds in pregnancy, and then you stopped that fitness journey around 6 months in because it was hard for you with a baby, and then you started it up again. So, what was that time between those different phases, and then how did things change when you recommitted and really found yourself immersed into the bodybuilding aspect?
So yeah, I never went to the gym before because I was really intimidated by the gym. Being a woman, going into the gym, it's kind of, you don't really know what machines are works for what, and you feel like everyone's watching you. So I was really scared of the gym before. And then when I gained all that baby weight, of course, I was like, I need to go to the gym. So I mainly just did machines back then when I just to get the weight off. So I did not know how to do any lifting or any compound movements. So I did mainly machines, and I did that until I got the weight off. And it took me about 6 months to get that extra weight off. And then I stopped going. I stopped going because we had an infant, and things were hard because I was working full time. I was also in school. My boyfriend was working full time. So things were hard in the beginning. And then we moved away closer to family, which things got a lot easier. But still, things were still hard because I didn't have a lot of my life put together at that time. And then I went to Mr. Olympia, the Fit Expo in Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. And that was when I got inspired, and I saw all these girls walking around with plump booties and like nice rounded shoulders. And I was like, oh my God, they look amazing. How do I do this? So I got signed up that day to get an LVAC membership and started going to the gym, met a coach, and things changed when when you progress in life and you become more successful. And I'm talking about my boyfriend at this time. He started his own company, his own business, and it actually took off really, really well for him in his first year. And he was able to support me and my daughter. And I would not be able to be doing this without his support. So when I moved to Las Vegas, we were closer to family, so that helped me out with my daughter. But going into competing, it's a lot of time, a lot of dedication. So what got me able to actually do this sport was the time that I'm able to have with the sport. Because some people are like, okay, you're a mom and you have kids, but you still have to work. You still have to, go to school or do these things. So I had to make that decision to be like, okay, I'm going to stop going to school. And if I want to pursue a career in the bikini world, then I need to put all my energy into that. So I did sacrifice my schooling to do this sport at the same time, but also it got a lot easier with my boyfriend with stability, helping out with bills and paying for everything pretty much. So that helped out so much tremendously as well.
And I hope I don't cross a boundary asking this, but I'd love to know just what was it like for you to give up school and then relinquish that creation of stability from yourself financially and have your boyfriend become the sole provider?
That was really, really, really challenging. That was when I hit depression. We had to sell my car. We had to move all the way, from San Diego to Las Vegas to be with family. I gave up working full time because I was working full time and I was going to school, and I gave up working full time because I had to be home with our daughter. Daddy made most of the money, so it only made sense for me to, take off work. So I didn't have a car at the time. I took off my job. I stopped going to school. Like my life just completely changed within like a few weeks, and I got really, really depressed. I got diagnosed with like ADHD, and I couldn't pay attention to things. Everything was just really, really sad in my life at that time. I had my daughter, but I just was like, who am I? Am I just a mom, or am I just sitting here, just taking care of a toddler, having 2-year-old conversations every day? So that was really hard for me. I went through a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety and stuff like that, trying to find who I am, what I want to do in life. And I had a lot of pressure also on my boyfriend. He's always pushing me to do something better for myself, just to be a better to be more successful, because that's who he is. He's a self-driven type of person. So yeah, that was really hard for me, quitting all those changes, and then bodybuilding really gave me that outlet to channel, all these negative emotions and feelings into something and that I can turn to, and it literally makes me happy, relieves my stress, has me something to look forward to every single day. It's not just this week or next week. It's literally every day I look forward to counting my macros, going to the gym, posting on my Instagram about something cool I did last week, and sharing all these ideas and stuff. So I really, really enjoy it, and I'm so thankful for the sport.
Wow, that's such an amazing journey, and I appreciate you expanding on that and the emotional ride that was for you, because to change so much in your life in such a short period of time can really be a shock to the system, and then to go through and be like, what's actually happening? Who am I really? To get certain diagnoses that can often make people feel that they've been pigeonholed, to then saying, you know what, I deserve better. I'm going to go after this. And you got inspired at the Olympia, and you wanted to really immerse into this, and it ended up leading to many of your passions. And how do you feel that maybe your experience as a mother was instrumental in your experience as an athlete? Like, do you notice any parallels in terms of strength or mental fortitude, or any way that the two cross over?
Yes. So I think that this sport is an amazing example for your kids. When it comes to my daughter doing things, sorry, and when it comes to my daughter and teaching her certain things, I feel like she has learned so much from me. From that one year, that took me a whole year to become okay and become happy and really fix my depression. And that didn't happen until after I found bodybuilding. And so that was that whole year. So from that whole year, I really noticed a big change in how I was as a mother and how my daughter reacted and just took in life from that year, and basing it from this year that I've been more involved with her. I get up, every morning. I'm on point with everything. She really sees the dedication, the hard work, and she really looks up to me. And I notice that a lot with her, because she'll tell me, "Mommy, I want to be a bikini girl. I want to do this. I want to do that." And I see like things in her of saying like, "Oh yeah, we don't have that because it's not healthy," and things. And she's like okay with it. She doesn't like before she used to cry for soda and stuff, and now that she sees me not drink soda every day, she's like, "Oh, that's healthy, that's okay, it's okay for me not to have soda." So I really think that that bodybuilding really helps with her development and not being, I don't want to use the word lazy, but not being like just another word for lazy, it helps a lot with, structuring yourself to be better and going after what you want every day, not just one weekend out of the month or something.
Yes, absolutely. That structure is what we need in our lives to really thrive.
Yes.
And it's what dictates our life every day. And I think it's awesome how you noticed a difference in how she behaved and how she acted around you or responded to you. Did you notice a difference in how your boyfriend or your family or friendships, any relationship change because of the changes you made?
Yeah, relationships with friends definitely changed. I don't go out as much anymore, but I never really did, because I have my 2-year-old, and if I'm gonna go hang out with girlfriends, I can't bring her, because we're not gonna be able to talk. It's gonna be we're talking to my toddler. So I never really went out and did fun things with friends or made new friends, but my old friends that I'm really close with. I haven't got to see them a whole lot, kind of nearly at all, with their lifestyle and my lifestyle. But I've made a lot of new friends in this industry, and they've been really supportive and great. My boyfriend, yes, he has been so inspired by me. I don't know if it's just because he just turned 30 or if it's because I looked all shredded, but mid prep, he was like, you know what, I need to get on your train because I don't want to fall behind. And so he got himself an actual coach. He got cuts. He's
Wow.
looking amazing. He's looking amazing. I'm sorry, he's looking so great, and I'm just like, okay, you can definitely step on stage as well, pretty soon. So I'm glad that I'm influencing him. But yeah, family and friends are just all really supportive, really happy of my success, and really excited of the my personality just completely changed, in the past couple years. So everyone, I notice that people can see it. I'm happier and healthier, and so things are looking up. And yeah, it's difficult, but it changes for the better. Not for everyone, but I feel like it works with my life perfectly because I can't do much out anyways with my daughter.
I love that you mentioned that things do change and that people have accepted that change, or many people have accepted that change and been inspired by it. And you're right, it's not always like that for everyone. And it seems like this really started to be the case for you once you found the right coach, you found the right approach, you really found that excitement and that health aspect in it as well. And that comes on many levels. Do you ever look back on your old self and feel almost like unrecognizable to where you are now?
Yes, yes, definitely. With everything, I'm glad I am the way I am now. Happy and glad.
That's awesome. I know it can sometimes be so strange. Like you make these amazing personal growth strides and you change so much in your life. And at first it's like super scary and it's like this huge emotional experience. And then suddenly you're
Yeah.
put on a better path and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe I was even going through that. I'm so much better off now.
Yes, I'm a firm believer of things happen for a reason because a lot of things that have happened drastically in my life have been to change me. When I used to be a bottle service girl downtown, working in the nightclubs like literally for years, for 4 years until I met my boyfriend, and then we were together for a year. We were just partying together, doing it together, and then we planned to have a kid. We got pregnant, and then we quit, we stopped, we had to change our life. We went from drinking like 5 days a week to not drinking at all, becoming parents, and that was a huge change for us. And I feel like it changed us for the better, of course. And then my big move from San Diego to Vegas and being in that depression and having to quit school, having to get rid of my car, get rid of all these things were all felt negative in the moment, but it was really setting me up to be, a better in the future, to be more successful. And this also changed, me getting me getting a coach in Vegas, and then not knowing a whole lot about a whole lot about the sport, and then going from there to having that health issue that I had, that I couldn't have any energy, I couldn't do anything, my body wasn't responding, and having that negative, impact with coronavirus happen at the same time, and me finding it brought me to Jordan, and it just brought me to another, a better place in my life that I am at now. And I just think that everything happens for a reason. So trust your journey and just embrace it. It's hard at times, but it sets you up to be better in the future. I believe, honestly.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. And I love how you took us on that journey just now and how you're expressing how important it is to trust that and to know that it is taking you somewhere better, even when it is super hard and when things are depressing and when things make you anxious and when it's difficult to focus because everything's been stripped from you. It's awesome when you develop that inner peace, that pride, that commitment to something better, and really taking the leap of faith and having the courage to say, I need something better. And what were some of those red flags for you that made you go, you know what, there's something actually wrong with the approach that needs to change for me to be better, that eventually led you to this new approach, tracking macros, having a different approach to maybe cardio and training and working with Jordan?
So I realized it firsthand with my fatigue. I was feeling really fatigued and tired throughout my plan. Throughout my plan of my prep, I didn't do a lot of things. I didn't do any of my fasted cardio. I did it maybe twice a week. I didn't do a lot of the things that my old coach had me doing just because I wasn't comfortable with doing them. I felt like I did not have the energy to do them. And I didn't know much about the sport, at first either, to really put the work into my head to where it was important to me. So me missing the cardio, I was like, it's fine, it's whatever, it's cool. I'm just doing this bikini show that I had no feelings in at first. So I didn't really take it too hard, but I was really smart. I feel like I was really smart about it back then. That I didn't do a lot of the things that he had me doing. But I noticed it from fatigue. I had zero energy. It'd be 3 p.m. and I slept all night, and I would just feel so tired and so exhausted. And I had this is before show and post show. I had the exact same meal. So I was I had my reverse diet for 1 week of changed meals. And then after that 1 week, my meals went back to my regular meal plan that I've had all of my prep, the whole thing, So I was like, this is weird how I'm having to eat the exact same foods, even now. And then whenever I would ask my coach, I'd be like, hey, what's going on? I'm really tired, blah, 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 all these things. And then he would respond to me saying, oh, just eat your food, do your plan. I know how to coach athletes. And so I just wouldn't learn anything, and I just wouldn't get any feedback back from him. And I would just be like, all right, this needs to change. That's when I started doing research and started realizing, okay, reverse dieting, you're supposed to slowly increase macros, So when I started doing this, I was like, okay, something's wrong. I need to figure this out, because I was just so exhausted. It was like I was drowsy. I don't even know how to explain it. I was so drowsy all day, and felt like it was getting worse and worse, and my strength was not there. It was weird. It's like my body just quit responding altogether.
Wow. And you had that disconnect from the program itself, you were like, something's off, something's not right. And then when you don't follow through on something that you want to follow through on, that can then create a whole host of mental challenges where you're like, okay, am I doing something wrong? Or why do I feel this way? Or should I be doing something better? And when you decided, okay, yeah, sure, he or she, whatever, whoever says, I know how to coach athletes, don't worry about it. But in your mind, you had talked earlier about how important it is to learn along the way. Was that because you didn't feel like you got much of a learning opportunity, or you didn't understand much of the process initially?
Yeah, so I make it a point for whenever athletes come to me and ask me my opinion about coaching, I always say, do your research and always ask questions with your coach. Always ask, because your health is number one. And if you're not asking anything, you're just doing without knowing why you're doing it, what you're doing, or what it's for, what the purpose is. So for one, you're not learning. And then, yes, I didn't get that approach from my last coach. Whenever I would ask questions, I would get shut down, or I would get told, no, I know what I'm doing. Just do what I say, type of thing. And so I didn't like it. And I didn't like that I didn't get to put my own, my opinion into my own prep. So yeah, I really like that Jordan teaches me. She lets me understand why I'm doing what I'm doing, why it's important. Because if you don't know that it's important in prep, sometimes you can slack on it. You'll be like, okay, this isn't that big of a deal, so I'm just gonna, do it 80% versus 110%. So yeah, really knowing why you're doing what you're doing is important for your mental, your own mental self, and also to being successful, you need to know why you're doing what you're doing.
I could not agree more. Honestly, I think education is really power. And if we don't have actually, it's interesting because there's something called motivational interviewing and counseling, in which you really help the person who's coming understand why it's important to them. And I think this same concept can be applied in fitness, because when you know why you're doing something and why it's important to you or for your journey, you're going to be way more likely to execute on it. You're going to be way more likely to feel a deeper connection. And that goes to intrinsic motivation, right? And you
Yeah.
shared, you ask questions a lot. You make sure you get the answers you're looking for. You prioritize yourself. Could you share some of the questions you have found yourself consistently asking, or maybe have found consistently answered by your coach or for your coach?
My old coach or for Jordan?
For Jordan, yeah. What are the questions you usually ask to make sure you're learning?
So if she will tell me, okay, we need to come in tighter, we're gonna do glute hamstring 3 times a week, and we're gonna up your carbs or do this, I always ask, okay, she says we're upping cardio. Obviously, I know why, because we need to drop more weight. Okay, and she's telling me to do glute ham focused workouts. I would ask her, okay, why am I doing the glute ham focused only? Is it, she's like, because the reason why we're doing glute ham focused only for 3 times a week is because we need to keep your upper body full, and we need to drop, come in tighter in the glutes. So versus, I could have been worrying about my shoulders, my upper body, and being like, okay, I need to work on my upper body too. I can't just be focusing on my glutes and neglect my upper body. But like, that's me being like not knowing anything. But by me asking her, why is it important, then I will get that out of my head of thinking I need to work on my upper body too, So when I ask questions and I ask her why I'm doing it, it helps in all areas with my own mind of not being like, oh, I need to work on my shoulders too. Like, it doesn't have me wonder in my head. And then also with like creatine, she would tell me that I need to cycle off my creatine, because I do take creatine, and I didn't know that, and then until she told me, and I was like, oh, okay, why? Like, why is that? And so she explains it to me, and then I'm like, okay, that's a good health aspect. I need to do that, so I need to make sure I write it down. I put in reminders. So all those little things, it just helps you become more successful, and it just helps your own self out, so you don't have to wonder or, second guess in your own head.
Absolutely. I think that's a really good point. Is it's like, if you don't want to be left wondering why or kind of questioning along the way, then it is important to ask those questions and get the answers you need and clarify. And I think that can be scary because of the experiences like you had in the beginning, where it's like, well, I know what I'm doing, so don't ask questions, when in reality, you are the client, you are taking responsibility in some way for the results. Actually, in many of the ways, you're getting the results in all
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah.
So it's okay, and it's important to ask. And I love that you prioritize that for yourself. And you've provided us so much amazing advice, really, on this show, and just insight into your journey. And I had another question for you, just in regard to like your goals now. What are you
Okay.
planning? Are you doing an improvement season? Are you going into like an extended one? Because you mentioned earlier, pros are a lot bigger. It's a different ball game. So what are your game plan
Yeah.
now?
Okay. So game plan is to build, rest and build, rest and build. Jordan wants me to build all the way up into July-ish. we're gonna we don't plan to stop building, but we plan to check out my physique that month and see where I stand, see how I'm looking. But yeah, we do plan to come back in late August of this year to come back, and hopefully, I told her, I was like, I don't want to come back unless I'm competitive, because I don't want to, spend all this time and step on stage and then, get like 100% get like less call outs. I just want to be able to be competitive in the sport before I come back, so I can give myself the proper time to have that muscle density, because that's what it's about in the pros with posing, your muscles and all that stuff. So yeah, we plan to come back late August if things are looking up with my physique wise and with the build. And then we plan to hopefully qualify for the 2022 Olympia. So we'll see how things go. I'm not expecting to win any pro show, but I just want to come back enough to where I'm competitive and I can go for points, or we'll see if things are amazing. Hopefully, who knows? You never know what happens, but
It'll be
exciting.
awesome. Oh yeah, no, that's super exciting. And I think it's great that you're wanting to prioritize taking that time, making sure you're coming back better, not just doing it to, do it, but actually doing it to improve and to represent the way that you want to. So with that said, I know, like I said earlier, we've got tons of advice already, but do you have any last pieces of advice for the person who has never competed before but wants to, and then the person who's on their road to pro?
Okay, so first time competitors. I would say get a good coach that has experience, I would say, on the stage and off as a coach, off the stage. Make sure you're doing your research about the sport, what it entails, along with all the food, with the macros, and the cutting, the building, the process. That's really important to fully understand, with your mental stability as well. Ask your coach 1,000 questions so you can learn, and pose every day. Get a posing coach if you need one. And I would say for first time, have fun with it. Never go in with any expectations. Because, when we go in with expectations, that's when we tend to get upset if things don't go our way. And then for road to pro competitors, I would say this is your freaking time. This is your shot. I believe national shows are like 5 months away, 4 or 5 months away. So you girls are getting ready for your prep, or should be in prep already maybe, but keep going. Hold your horses up high and push through. Follow your plan to a T. Trust your coach. Do what they say, because if you follow the plan, do what they say, things will look up. Chase that feedback, get the feedback, deliver on the feedback. So going to do maybe 2 warm-up shows so you can get that feedback, and you can execute that feedback, and you can just keep getting it. Allow yourself multiple chances to be able to deliver that feedback as well. And yeah, pose, go up there, comfortable, pose, be happy, and have fun with it. Yeah, that's pretty much
Amazing.
it.
That is awesome advice. Seriously, I appreciate you being willing to share all of that. And there's been so much that you've shared that I want other people to be able to say thank you for, and of course, even reach out to you, especially if you're going to start posing coaching or coaching lifestyle clients, because we do have some lifestyle people who listen to this show as well. So can you let everyone know
Yeah.
how they can connect with you?
Yeah. So I do have my email on my Instagram. My Instagram name is Fitness by Aimee. That's my little nickname. My name's Aimee, so everyone calls me Ames. And then I got my emails in there, and then I do have a YouTube. It's Fitness by Ames as well. So those 2. is where you can get in contact with me.
Perfect. I will put all of that in the show notes page. So you guys listening, that's always on celestial.fit/podcast. If you're listening right away, her episode's going to be at the very top. If you're listening into the future, make sure you just go to the category section and search for Aimee, and she'll be at the top actually because it's all alphabetical. And there's show notes there and episode timestamps too. And we're recording this in January, but this doesn't come out for a while. You guys, I'm like working my ass off just to get you episodes every week, to be honest, but it's now on YouTube and I haven't been able to announce that. So if you go on YouTube, yes, thank you. You can actually click certain timestamps. So when Aimee said something about developing her pro mentality or what she does to create her best posing routine, you'll be able to find that thanks to the amazing girls who do the notes for me. So with all that said, thank you so much, Aimee, for coming on. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
Of course. I'm so glad you had fun. And thank you guys for listening. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, night, or morning, wherever you are in the world while you're listening